Good afternoon, and if you have ever wondered how do you cook a pot roast in a thermal cooker, I'm here to show you how. It is an extremely easy recipe to do, and not to mention delicious. So we have our ingredients here all ready to pop into the pot accordingly. So at the moment we have our olive oil just in the base of the SD thermal cooker, bringing that up to temperature, and then I'll add in the onions. And I have our thermal cooker outer flask preheating with boiling water. And here comes the onions. So that's the onions in, sizzling away nicely. And the kitchen is starting to smell divine already. Well, we'll get them softening down. Just turn down the heat there. We'll get them softening down there now nicely. And we'll start adding in all the ingredients in the form of the garlic and the mixed herbs, just to get them up to temperature, because with them in mixed herbs, and I'll add in the stock cube as well, because of the mixed herbs being dried, they need extra time to rehydrate, so I'll get them activated as soon as possible. So that's the mixed herbs, garlic and ginger added in now with the onions. Oh my god, I wish you had smell-o-vision. It smells absolutely fantastic in here. So, I've just added in the tomatoes and tomato paste, ground black pepper, a little hint of salt, and I will be momentarily adding in the meat once I have this all lovely and mixed together. And then we will top it up with boiling water just to cover the meat, and that will cook once I get it up to temperature, and then transfer it into the SD thermal cooker. So that is the joint of meat in. Now that it will be cooking away, we have our lovely tomato, onions and spices and herbs mix. And I will add in some boiling water here now, just to get that all covered up. Get that all covered up before we put our vegetables on. And as you can see, I'm going to need some more water. Get all those flavors mixing together. Another little tiny bit of water just to make sure that the meat is fully covered. So as you can see, our meat is fully covered over with fluid, and we're starting to come up to a boil. We'll leave that on a rolling boil for about 10-15 minutes just to make sure that we are fully up to temperature. Have our potatoes and carrots ready for it out, or keep my meat and vegetables separate. I'll cook them in their own individual pot. If you have the availability of a Wonder Bag, which is basically like a cloth version of a Mr. D thermal cooker, you could boil up your vegetables, get them to a rolling boil, and pop them into your Wonder Bag, But unfortunately, I have not gotten around to making a wonder bag yet, so that's another project I can come up with. They're a brilliant idea for being energy efficient and fuel saving on the boat as well, or just being ecologically friendly in general with your cooking. In a few minutes, once this is boiling away happily, I will empty out the boiling water that I have heating up my external flask, because why would you put a hot pot into a cold exterior flask? Because then you're going to lose temperature to your cooking pot. This way, your external thermos is preheated and will spread the heat into your cooking process. So that's a much better idea. So I'll pop the lid on this just to keep the heat in and get her up to a nice boil and go from there. Bubbling away happily. I'll transfer this over now once I empty out the external flask. So that is our cook pot transferred carefully into our thermal cooker. Now all we have to do is sit back, relax, or let Mr. D do all the work for me. As you can see, once the internal hot pot is put inside its thermal flask, it is safe to store anywhere. On a expensive sideboard, or in a press, the back of your car, wherever you need to put it. If you're in transit, you can bring it with you and have a meal on the go. So the thermal cooker is a brilliant investment for anyone who is interested in it. My friends on Salty Lass have an affiliated link, and if you want to buy it through them, I'm sure they will be very much appreciative of your support. And the other good thing about the Mr. D thermal cooker, in a study that was done in America recently, this performed extremely strongly for its size and the amount of hours it took. It was still at optimum temperature 10 hours after the pot went in. So extremely effective for keeping your food at a safe, healthy temperature, so you don't end up with food poisoning.